Yes, good morning, guys. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching from. Please like, subscribe, and share. Right, hit the subscribe button right here. Thank you. You're welcome.
Mmụọ 3.5 ogidi igwe na-ekwu okwu na-agbasa ụzọ gabaga anya na-enye anyị ihe anyị na-achọ ka anyị nụma na ntị anyị maka na gị na gị ntị gbogbo ị na-eme mmadụ obi ụtọ nke oyibo na-akpọ entertainment omenala ka ị na-akpali elu nke oyibo na-akpọ kọlchọ ihe eji eme ọfụma omenala n'ime obi ụtọ bụ eji mara gị ebe ọ na-adị FM 103.5 ogidi asị m na ọdịrọikwa achọ na azụ n'onwe onye redio eji eme ọnụ itu na redio gegede 103.5 ogidi ebe ọ na-adị FM ka inume ị chọrọ obodo ga-adịkwa oyi na igegide anyị pawa.
It's the morning drive on 103.5 EBEONADI103.5FM. We blend culture and entertainment.
Good morning once again, and welcome to EBEONADI103.5 FM. Today, the 30th day of October 2024. Today is Wednesday, and the time is 2 minutes past the hour of 7. It's time for newspaper headlines on EBEONADI103.5 FM. This morning, we are going to take you through the news making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers. But before we do that, let's go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines. Please stay with us. You're welcome back to newspaper headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. This morning, we are going to take you through the news, making the headlines on The Guardian, Leadership, Vanguard, Punch, Daily Post, The Nation, This Day, and if time permits, we're also going to take a look at the Nigerian Tribune newspapers. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080 65 79 6599. I am Martin. Let's get started with the Guardian newspaper this morning. Documentation stores ministerial nominees screening. Leading U.S. newspapers shun endorsements 1 week to polls. Stakeholders urge caution review of tax bill for consensus. Reverse internal brain drain with minimum wage, NMA tells governors. Prioritize mass welfare, country. Still walls poverty capital, Obi urges. Experts, Bimon dwindling research funding. Tinubu, Biden discuss United Nations security seat orders. Ekiti, lawyers petition NJC over rulings by Wipe. Suspended chairman begs as Abakoba falls Lagos Assembly's action. States poor IGR raises physical sustainability concerns. Naira for crude. Tinubu seeks stakeholders' understanding as fuel price rises. Federal government seeks regional cooperation against small arms IED threats. Reps query permanent secretary over 1.4 billion naira abandoned road project. Tinubu launches 2025 Armed Forces Emblem Appeal Fund. Kanu okays 71,000 naira minimum wage as NUT urges wider implementation. Kappa laments a rise in obesity, diabetes, hypertension. Bale, fall rain for final burial, November 1st. Federal government raises tribunal to address lapses in built industry. Nigeria, United Arab Emirates moves to expand trade ties. Niger House decries bandits' occupation of a military camp. TCN seeks a military intervention, promises to restore power in days. Nigeria, West Africa countries to adopt unified driver's license. At least 93 killed, missing in Israeli strike on Gaza. Egyptian migrant boat capsizes off Libya, 12 dead. Former Trump aide Bannon released from jail. China, Nigeria trade partnership expands through CCE. Asian Abu Covenant Varsity Vice Chancellor to attend Edu School Summit in Lagos. Court refuses to postpone Ogun Council elections. Osun ex-deputy governor Hastrop joins a race for Owa Oboku stool. Lagos PHC laments shortage of test strips 2 days into free diabetes screening. Ondo Guba poll. INEC pledges neutrality. The Guardian XMD, Bunola, others receive Community Service Awards. Osun APC suspends Arebushala for anti-party activities. Naira appreciates by 2.4% against dollar at official market. First Bank partners at PCAF to combat climate change. Oborowore places high premium on health workers. Commissioner Action Aid decries World Bank IMF meetings over failure to address debt crisis. Tinubu assures oil sector stability with Naira for crude transaction. Reps, we've taken this. United UNDP, Japanese government, peacekeeping center partner on counter-terrorism training. Derivation-based model for VAT, not against the North. Expert. Alake seeks enhance Nigeria. United Arab Emirates trade focuses on solid minerals. Nigeria. US sets up conflict early warning situation room. Technology can aid civil society organizations' efforts. Stakeholders. UNICEF support Kanu to tackling UNICEF support Kanu in tackling impact of climate change on children. Nigeria crude sale has set economy on path of industrialization. Edun. Kanu, UNICEF partner to draft climate change policy document. O2 presents 2025 appropriation bill, moot on minimum wage. Reps step down motion to sanction Gencos. NERC over power outage in North. Amotekun arrests 27 suspects. Reps move creation of armed forces farms and ranches. All FCT area councils to benefit from Tinubu government. Wike. Federal government seeks joint regional cooperation to counter small arms IED threats. Kaduna governor calls for speedy trial of terrorists. PRP force World Bank, IMF asks Tinubu to embrace homegrown policies. Two vessels to bat at Lagos port with crude oil, MPA. MBA Ikeja tax Tinubu on policy reversal to cushion economic pressures. IGR hits 2.43 trillion naira in 2023 as Lagos leads with 815.86 billion naira. Network disruptions. FCCPC warns banks, wants swift service restoration. Senate okays NDIC bill to protect for bank depositors. Federal government inaugurates a builders disciplinary tribunal, warns against compromise. Court refuses to postpone Ogun local government election. Suleiman Ibrahim promises better deal for Nigerian women. Tinubu, Dangote, Edun meet to discuss Naira-based crude oil sales. 11 killed in Mozambique election protest. HRW. Tinubu launches 2025 Armed Forces emblem. We've taken this. Security combat insurgent disrupting power in North, Jibrin. PSC promotes 4 police academy officers. Federal government pledges support for Islamic Military Counter-Terrorism Center. Enugu CJ assures implementation of non-custodial sentences. Senate approves 24 billion naira refund for airport to Kebbi, Nasarawa. That's the much we can take from the Guardian newspaper this morning. From the Guardian newspaper, we'll flip over to Leadership newspaper. AFCON qualifier, CAF slams fresh sanctions against Libya. Harris faces trouble with Jewish voters in swing states. US election outcome could affect Ukraine. 6 days to go, Trump may face serious backlash over Puerto Rico law. Firms join forces to drive artificial intelligence innovation. Domestic airfare jumps by 57.81% in 1 year. CBN to use any tool to fight inflation. Cardoso. Former Ebony SSG Bernard Odo emerges 7th Vice Chancellor of UNIZIC. Nigerian Observer honors Iradia, Momo, Obagbena, others. Scores killed in Edo Cult War. Federal government donates 500 million naira to Nigerian Legion. Only Lagos, Rivers can generate substantial IGR, budget IT. Federal government signed the cargo tracking agreement in error. Minister for crisis. Hold marketers are responsible for long queues. Dangote. Kanu approves a 71,000 naira minimum wage. We will restore power to North in 5 days. TCN. Naira used for crude oil transaction, conceived to remove exchange rate barrier. Tinubu, my gross with Tinubu is about supporting Wike to destabilize rivers. Asare, reps move to protect fraudulent money withdrawal from bank accounts. Federal government sign multi-billion-dollar cargo tracking agreement in error. Minister, we will restore power to North. We've taken this. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Leadership newspaper this morning. Embattled Abia lawmaker assaulted boat driver, resolved to settle dispute. Federal government signed a multi-billion-dollar cargo tracking agreement. We've taken this. Ekiti lawyers drag Justice Wite to NJC over controversial rulings. US President Biden speaks to Tinubu on Binance. United Nations Security Council seat. Others. Amotekun arrest man over alleged murder. 26 others. Man United set to appoint Amorim as new manager. Despite apologizing, reps to probe member over assault on Abuja driver. FCCPC tells banks to address online banking disruptions. Fuel queues will disappear if marketers collect from us. Dangote. KOHDEE releases debut EP. Kingmakers affirm selection of new para monarch, Oloro of Oro. Kanu to incur 13 billion naira additional wage bill approves a 71,000 naira new minimum wage salary for workers. Real Madrid, Brazil players are back Vinicius after Ballon d'Or snub. Benue Governor Alia in China for Hawaii partnership. Chinese import, export exhibition. PSC promotes 4 police officers with doctorate degree. APC suspends ex-governor Areboshola over alleged anti-party activities. I declined Tinubu's offer of pipeline surveillance contract. Asari, 750 million naira raised as Tinubu launches 2025 Armed Forces Emblem Appeal Fund. Delta achieves about 101,000 Delta achieves about 101.29% of annual revenue target. Downplay news on religious ethnic fault lines. Oborowori tells media. PPL 213 court voice award of 45% participating interest to Pedro. Federal government raises the alarm over increased cyber threats. Group faults Wazo's removal as minister says is risky for APC. Ex-minister Jamita Ibrahim impacted positively on Kwara's youth. Dan Bago secures funds for Mina Varsity's students' hostels. Senate building. Tinubu's cost-cutting measures, mere window dressing, says Timi Frank. Help find the solution to illegal mining. Kwara governor charges geologists. Reps preaches new trades, skills to boost students' employment chances. New hard work key to my Ballon d'Or nomination. Lookman. Uni Ilorin non-academic staff join nationwide strike. Pencom leaves as corporate stars league kicks off. Washington Post loses 200,000 subscribers after canceling Kamala Harris endorsement. Constitution review. First Lady Bimon's women's exclusion in politics. Governance. Zulum greets Adamawa Governor Fintri at 57. Umai seeks state of emergency on roads. That's the much we can take from the leadership newspaper this morning. Remember that you're listening to newspaper headlines on Airborne 103.5 FM. You can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080 From the leadership newspaper, we'll flip over to Vanguard newspaper. Power will be restored to north in 72 hours. Federal government. Petrol price up third time in 60 days as crude oil drops. Naira appreciates to 1,725 naira per dollar in parallel market. Bandits take over military camp in Niger. Petrol price we've taken this. MPA halts container release at Apapa port due to severe congestions. Space and man one. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Biden phones Tinubu over Binance executive, discusses law enforcement issues. APC suspends Areboshola over alleged anti-party activities. Ondo Guba, Ganduje, Sanwo-Olu rally voters for Ayedatiwa. Poverty, unemployment, our collective resolve tested by ongoing challenges. Northern governors. Ondo Guba, SDP, APC tango over alleged recruitment of political thugs. Scarcity. We have 500 million liters of petrol in our tanks. Dangote. I'm innocent. Never had sex with male teenagers. Suspended RCCG pastor. Naira appreciates to 1,725 naira per dollar. Taking this. Newlyweds escape assassination attempt on Enugu Port Harcourt Road. Assault on boat driver. I'm embarrassed by my actions. Alex Ikwecheg. Timothy Adegoke's murder. Appeal court adjourns for judgment. Dilapidated Sapele Wari Road. Again, trapped motorists, travelers cry out. Residents flee as flood overruns 11 Delta communities. That's the much we can take from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning, from the Vanguard newspaper, we'll flip over to the Punch newspaper. ICYMI, RCCG suspends two pastors over homosexuality allegations, begins probe. Remi, Tinubu, Sanwo-Olu, Makinde, ex-governors, dignitaries, extort ex-minister Akande at 80. Ondo poll, ZLP denies merging with PDP. Ajayi vows to stop Ayetoro Sea incursion if elected. Yaga Africa deploys 324 observers for Ondo election. Stop ad hoc FX auctions. World Bank tells CBN. Ex-Ohaneze president hails Uti for infrastructural development leadership. NUC begins a verification of 18-degree programs in FUAHSE. Ahead takeoff. Abia debunks NLC allegations on local government funds, urges fact verification. 2025 budget. Tinubu submits MTEF to National Assembly next week. Senate spokesman. Cross River, Ekiti governors presents 2025 budgets. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Punch newspaper this morning, reps ask IGP to fish out Anambra killers. Inmates to get 1,150 naira daily feeding allowance. Christian Association of Nigeria denies criticizing OT over church tax, demands retraction. Airport projects, Senate approves a 24 billion naira refund for Kebbi, Nasarawa. Ex-Obafemi Awolowo University student murder, appeal court adjourns for judgment. Ayedatiwa assures traditional institutions of continuous support. Bale, fall rain for final burial November 1st. Lawmaker intervenes in Imo Airport, host communities crisis. REC meets civil society organizations, promises fair election. Imo promises prompt land allocations. Uzodinma demands accountability. MPA asks federal government to address fuel price hike, economic hardship. Bandits seized military camp. Sack 23 communities. Niger Assembly. Biden phones Tinubu over United Nations security seats. Binance executive release. Makinde to unveil 3,000-hectare agri-business hub. Stakeholders hail Zobi's cable boss for positioning Anambra on global stage. Anambra community extols New Yam Festival's importance to tourism, agriculture. 750 million naira donated as Tinubu unveils Armed Forces Remembrance Day emblem. Lagos State University Center stakeholders advocate Yoruba language preservation. 1.2 million Abia children vaccinated against polio in 2024. ABSPHCDA. Abia State Primary Health Care Development Agency. University of Nigeria Nsukka's ACE SPED unveils modern SEM lab, pioneering advanced material analysis. That's the much we can take from the Punch newspaper this morning. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning, from the Punch newspaper, we'll flip over to the Daily Post newspaper. Start paying local government council workers minimum wage in November. Oborowore. Hardship. Tinubu aware his policies causing difficulties among Nigerians. Governor Sule. Don't blame Oyan Dam for flood. River basins boss cautions. Don't blame Oyan Dam for flood. River basin boss cautions. Body of auditors supports fight against corruption. NDIC. Senate moves to safeguard depositors' funds. Blackout in northern Nigeria. Adelabu announces date to restore power supply. 44 persons arrested over alleged illegal tax collection in Kogi. Senate knocks military over non-payment of benefits to families of dead personnel. Sanwo-Olu sues EFCC over alleged planned arrest. prosecution. Blackout in North. Senate expresses concerns over spate of vandalism. Osun Assembly introduces multi-door court establishment bill to enhance justice delivery. Osun Assembly introduces multi-door court establishment bill to enhance justice delivery. 4. Power tariff hike. MBA urges Tinubu to tackle rising cost of living. That's the much we can take from the Daily Post newspaper this morning. You are listening to newspaper headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 08065796599. From the Daily Post newspaper, we'll flip over to the Nation newspaper. Cardoso, CBN will deploy necessary tools to battle inflation. Omokri, Tinubu's government inclusive, not lopsided. Lagos, German corporation partner to train drivers. The advantage crude sale in Naira to refineries. By Tinubu, the advantage crude sale in Naira to refineries. Tinubu, Biden in 30-minute phone talk on United Nations seat. Gambarian, with advanced technology, cancer no longer a death sentence, says Pate. Ayedatiwa receives rousing welcome in Okeawa. Apply. Monarchs pray for PDP candidate. APC rallies APC rallies affirm Ayedatiwa's popularity. APC assures Akoko traditional institutions of support. Tunji Ojo challenges CGs, heads of agencies, on delivery. Performance bond. PSC promotes 4 police officers with PhD certificates. Club unites for polio walk. Ekiti community gets transformer after 14 years of darkness. Pandef, we need infrastructure overall. Others, students get food items, educational materials. Minister promises to draft authors of cybercrime book into federal government's committee. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Nation newspaper this morning. Adegoke killing. Court reserves judgment on Adedoyin's appeal. Wike knocks FCTA officials over road project. 3-story building collapses in Rivers. Man United set to appoint Lisbon's Amorim as new manager. European Union stakeholders work on compliance with deforestation regulation sustainability. Tinubu will not regret appointment of Yewada as minister. Plateau APC elders. Driver arrested for stealing bus laptop, demanding ransom. Lagos task force warns against blocking roads for parties, social gatherings. Biden thanks Tinubu over Gambarian release in 30 minutes phone call. Kanu agrees to pay 71,000 naira minimum wage. Senate strips CBN of power to recommend appointees into NDIC board to president. Sanwo-Olu urges court to stop EFCC from prosecution after tenure. Reps to investigate Rep Ikwechek over alleged assault on boat driver. Naira crude sale has set economy on path of industrialization. Edun. Governor Ododo pays 600 million naira WAEC fees for 18,734 students. Network disruptions. FCCPC wants swift services restoration. Court refuses to postpone Ogun Council poll. That's the much we can take from the Nation newspaper this morning. You are listening to newspaper headlines on EBEONADI103.5 FM. We'll now go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines on this day newspaper. Please stay with us.
FM. Nabakoa production. My business. When I was AJ radio drama. AJ radio drama. Canada every Monday, 8 o'clock p.m. Broadcast on Saturday, 3 o'clock p.m. Now, EBEONADI 103.5 FM. If you move by finish your business,
Okosi, ogini na-asị, ọnụ m okwu ka nọrọ na ntị, ọkwa anụ taa ka ara eze, ya bụ na eze na-achị. Oge ka o si na-ebu, mgbe anyị ji ahụ ụlọ, nke na-eme eme, nke na-apịa ụzọ, nke na-arụ ọrụ n'ime ndụ anyị na ezinụlọ anyị, na mpaghara mba ụwa, maka na ihe ọbụla na-emenụ na-eme ka mmadụ wee mụta ihe, maka na Igbo tụrụ ilu wee sị, n'ebe a na-adụ nwa nwere nne na nna ọdụ, ka nke na-enwere nne na nna na ọnụ amụta ife. Sonyere Somtii n'oge ka o si mee na 103.5 kwa ụbọchị Mọnde, Wenesde, Fraịde, ngwa ngwa ọkụ elekere 10 nke ụtụtụ ka ngwa gị ka o si wee mee ka ịgwa m ebumnobi gị. Ị ga-amụta ọtụtụ ihe ga-eme ka ị ghara ịgafe ụzọ ebe ndị ọzọ gafere. Igbo kacha alọ.
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on EBEONADI FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be.
Government.
Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community. Street report is here with hardcore journalists to get to the root of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifanyushku, number the first every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on EBEONADI 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds
in your face.
On Martin EBEONADI
24/7, 24/7.
Man is a political animal. That's why we all have our views on politics. Political View comes to you at EBEONADI 103.5 FM with Martin Ifanyushku is here every Monday, 3 o'clock p.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's all about the day-to-day activities in the Nigerian political space. Views of political actors from various political parties on political process. Views of labor leaders, and most importantly, your views. Views of the common Nigerian. Tune in to EBEONADI 103.5 FM or you join online via mixlr.com/GistFM every Monday and Saturday. What are your political views? Keep a date.
You're welcome back to Newspaper Headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080 We are on to this day newspaper with Naira for crude. Tinubu promises more stability. In 30-minute phone call, Tinubu Biden seek to deepen partnership in US-Nigeria relations. Cardoso, Nigeria, ready to use all tools to manage inflation. Rebranded Observer newspapers, we are building on achievements of founding fathers, says Obaseki. ECOWAS, ECO Bank, empower 400 women traders in Nigeria. Onaikan, to fix Nigeria's challenges, northern elite must fix regions' problems. TCN targets Sunday to restore power to North, says insecurity hindering efforts. Oyetola, federal government signed the cargo tracking agreement in error. BPE renews efforts to boost service delivery, uphold mandate. Blackout in North, Tinubu expresses concern, orders speedy restoration of power. PENCOM mandates PFAs to suspend investment in commercial papers. FEM set to use agriculture to tackle poverty in Nigeria. Oyesta Agribusiness secures $2 million fund to expand operations in Ghana's agricultural sector. Senate urges NDIC to maximize value of Heritage Bank's assets. Law professor drums support for CFTA to boost intra-Africa trade. Transcorp Group reports Q3 growth surge with 133 revenue increase, 303% profit rise. 3 live underwriting firms take insurance market lion share. No respite for businesses as banking sector maximized lending rate reached 30.21% in September. Uzamaka Oshogwe driving Afriland remarkable success in Nigeria's real estate. Anambra workers to earn new minimum wage this month. Do we need South-South Development Commission? As APC unites for Ondo 2024 Guba election, June 12 poll umpire Humphrey Wonsu beats Ward farewell. That's the much we can take from this day newspaper this morning. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning from this day newspaper, we'll flip over to the Nigerian Tribune. Vehicles transition to CNG, need for caution. Economic treason, worthy of death penalty. Analyzing historical accuracy in Latif Adedimeji's biopic. Lisabi, The Uprising. Mitigating flooding in wetland communities by Ogun government. Key takeaways from Tinubu's cabinet reshuffle. Land administration, Nigeria's development. Exploiting advantages from shift of fossil fuel dominance. Kola Dasis and Kola Dasis University. Go on, Essence of Nigeria Project, Spirit, Residence Forces. Who is afraid of Wajabiamila? At Second University, Oyebanji unfolds his scorecard in Ekiti. At second anniversary, Oyebanji unfolds his scorecard in Ekiti. What is African Ancestral Studies? Cyber security in Nigeria's digital age, securing the future of our nation. The ground rent collection conundrum in Oyo State. That's the much we can take from the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. And that will also mark the conclusion of all that we have for you on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080 6579 6599. We now flip over to our WhatsApp portal for reactions. On our WhatsApp portal this morning, we have this message. It is coming from Agonabo. He's joining us from Ofa, Aguluzibo, and he says, a fuel crisis saga. Let the Nigerian government and the NMPC stop playing with the life of masses, and continuous hardship and the cost of living have cost a lot of mental health and risk premature death. And bandits, he says, bandits taking over military camp is barbaric and highly condemnable, and we the masses don't have confidence on the army anymore, and we are living in jeopardy every day, and the blackout in the northern part of the country is unfair, and the reason behind it is carelessness about it. We are watching as things unfold. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. It is coming from young grandma from Udumobosi, and she says federal government should do something about the flooding in this country because it contributes a lot in this hardship facing Nigeria now. Young grandma from Udumobosi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message. It is coming from Chinedu Oneka, pastor, and he said Anambra state workers to receive new minimum wage this month. Congratulations to them, and I pray in due time their salary will continue to increase. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Chinedu Oneka, pastor. From our WhatsApp portal, we'll flip over to our SMS portal. We have this message. It's coming from Honorable Onyedeka Osakwe from Ogidi, and he says the wave in which our dear country is going now leaves one to doubt if there is government in Nigeria. Wike, Ganduje, and others are those that will be held responsible for the woes of this nation. Killing of innocent citizens have become everyday tea and bread. May God help this nation. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Honorable Onyedeka Osakwe. Also on our SMS portal, we have this message is coming from Ogochukwu Ifechukwu, and she says, God bless those governors that accepted to pay their workers 80,000 naira and above. But if the president did not restore the fuel subsidy, something is wrong somewhere. Okay, Ogochukwu Ifechukwu, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message. It's coming from Godwin from Umumbo, and he says, good morning, Martin. Keep on with your good job. You are the king of the airwaves. Godwin from Umumbo, thank you so much for your kind words. Also on our SMS portal this morning, we have a message coming from Chinedu Oneka, pastor, and he says cost of living in Nigeria these days is coming too bad. And he says our leaders should rise and be serious with their work. Okay, thank you so much for joining us once again, Chinedu Oneka, pastor. With that message from Chinedu Oneka, pastor, this is the spot where we'll call it a day on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Remember, it comes your way weekdays in the morning. Once is 7 o'clock, so keep a date and don't touch the dial of Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Once is 8:20 this morning. We'll be back with Birthday Splash. Till we meet again, I am Martin. Have a wonderful morning.
EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Napapoa Production. Police for vigilante. Not my business. When I will tell you AJ radio drama, Erico. Akụkọ ihe mere iwe AJ radio drama Erico ga na-abịara gị every Monday 8 o'clock p.m. with a repeat broadcast on Saturday 3 o'clock p.m. na EBEONADI 103.5 FM.
If you move and finish your business,
Amara mi le wa di la mo. Ko ko na ga do do na ra ko na ni ri ko na ye. Nke ka ku ke mo na ala ma mu ko na ya mo le si.
Ekwekwala ka akọlụ gị nke a akọlụ.
Oke osi ọ gịnị na-afụ? Nwanụ m okwu ka nọrọ na ntị. Ọkwa anụ taa ka ara eze bịa bụ na eze na-achị. Oke ka o si na-ebu mgbe anyị ji abụ ụlọ nke na-eme eme nke na-apịa ụzọ nke na-arụ ọnụ n'ime ndụ anyị na ezinụlọ anyị na mpaghara mba ụwa maka na ihe ọbụla na-emenụ na-eme ka mmadụ wee mụta ihe maka na Igbo tụrụ ilu wee sị n'ebe a na-adụ nwa nwere nne na nna ọdụ ka nke na-enwere nne na nna na-anọ amụta ife. Sonyere Somtii n'oge ka o si mee na 103.5 kwa ụbọchị Mọnde, Wenesde, Fraịde ngwa ngwa ọkụ elekere 10 nke ụtụtụ ka ngwa gị ka o si wee mee ka ị gwa m ebumnobi gị. Ị ga-amụta ọtụtụ ihe ga-eme ka ị ghara ịgafe ụzọ ebe ndị ọzọ gafere. Igbo kacha anọ.
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on EBEONADI FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be.
Government.
Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community. Street report is here with hardcore journalists to get to the root of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifanishku, as our number the first every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on EBEONADI 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds In your face.
On Emas and EBEONADI corner
24/7, 24/7.
Obodo eze bụ ife mmemme anyị ji akwalite omenala asụsụ Igbo ọdịbendị ma wetakwalụ gị uche bụ akpa akụkọ ifo na ilu. Sonyere Somtii n'oge obodo eze kwa ụbọchị Tọzdee ọbụla ngwa ngwa ọkụ elekere 3 nke ehihie. Onye ije nnọọ n'obodo eze ebe ife na-eme.
Man is a political animal. That's why we all have our views on politics. Political View comes to you at EBEONADI 103.5 FM with Martin Ifanishku is here every Monday, 3 o'clock p.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's all about the day-to-day activities in the Nigerian political space. Views of political actors from various political parties on political process. Views of labor leaders, and most importantly, your views. Views of the common Nigerian. Tune in to EBEONADI 103.5 FM or you join online via MixLR facebook.com/GistFM. Every Monday and Saturday, what are your political views? Keep a date.
I know sometimes it feel like saying nobody sent you that when I did for you.
Nwanne kedu ka ị mere ama na arụrụte ama na ụfọdụ oge ọ na-adị gị ka echezọrọ gị na m echefuola gị mba nọ nke afọ bụ asị onye ka m ji zitere gị akwụkwọ ozi ekene anụnwa site n'aka ndị 103.5 FM. Oge ozi ekene bụ oge nnekwu ohere ejirịta ọra ma nwelekwa anwụrụ isonyere usoro tii n'oge ozi ekene kwa ụbọchị Sọnde ọbụla ngwa ngwa ọkụ elekere 4 nke ụgbede. Ị ga-enwetakwa anya bụ akwụkwọ ozi ekene nke bụ request kaadị n'isi ụlọ ọrụ anyị dị na Lufi Residency Hotel na ncherịta iru Cape City Secondary School ka anyị tụrịta ọra.
It's the morning drive on 103.5 EBEONADI103.5FM. We play.
Okay, guys, thank you. Like, subscribe, and share right. Hit the subscribe button back here. You rock. Dalo.